Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. If you guys watch my videos relatively frequently, you know that I use a lot of raid footage as the background for a lot of my videos. The reason that I do that is because I love raids. Raids are my favorite thing in Destiny 2, they're my favorite thing in Destiny 1. I probably have somewhere around 500 completions of raids altogether between the two games. In my opinion, it's the best thing about Destiny, and it really bums me out whenever people say that they've never done a raid. When people say that they can't find a raid team, when people say they don't know how to find a raid team, they don't have friends, you know, all this stuff, it just bums me out, man, because I promise you, there are people out there right now that are ready to raid with you, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. I've talked about this in previous videos. I made a couple in Destiny 1. I think I've made one in Destiny 2 in vanilla, talking about how to find a raid team, but you know, here we are in 2020, man, and things change. Some things become better than other things were, so let's talk about it again, because there's still so many people out there that are playing this game that have never done a raid, and if I can help change that, if I can help get you in a raid, that is a big old fat W in my opinion. So let's start with some basics. In my opinion, if you're looking for a raid team, you don't have any experience, you don't want to come out with, I need somebody to carry me in a raid. Carry is a dirty word. Carry insinuates that you're just in it for a free raid clear. You don't want to learn anything. You just want somebody to pull you through it by your ear, and that's it. You don't care. You don't want to learn mechanics. You don't want to learn boss fights. You don't want to listen to anybody. You're just in it for the ending. And honestly, that turns a lot of people off, all right? Myself included. If somebody says, will you carry me in a raid, I won't even acknowledge you. So tip number one, anytime that you're going to approach somebody or post on an LFG site and you're looking for somebody to Sherpa you, that's the proper term, by the way, for somebody that is experienced, that is willing to take people who do not have experience through a raid. Sherpa. You are looking for a Sherpa to teach you the raid. You've never done it. You're willing to listen. You really want to learn these raids. You really want to get in there. That's how you approach it, not, I need somebody to carry me because Bungie doesn't have matchmaking, stupid Bungie, fuck you. That's not gonna get you anywhere, man. Just to be blunt, like, that's not gonna get you anywhere. Be respectful, be courteous, and be very open that you want to learn the raids. You also want to take the initiative to go out and find a team, because if all you're doing is making excuses why you can't find a raid team, then you're never going to find a raid team. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to find one. Again, I might come off as kind of cold saying that or kind of douchey, but it's the God's honest truth. Like, at a certain point, if you want something bad enough, you just need to go get it. And it's no different here. You're just going to have to stop making excuses, reach out to people, find a raid team, and then you're good to go, man. It is nobody's responsibility but your own to find people to play with. All right, that includes Bungie. It's not Bungie's responsibility to make you friends, okay? It's not Bungie's responsibility to find you friends. I'm not going to get into a whole debate about why I don't think matchmaking needs to be in raids. I will say that I have failed so many heroic public events because people don't know what's going on, and, you know, that doesn't really have mechanics. Raids do. So, I mean, that's my argument for not having matchmaking in raids. But like I said, if you just keep making excuses, then that's all you're going to have at the end of the day is excuses. You're not going to have a raid team. Nobody's just going to show up and be like, hey, person I've never met, would you like to come raid with me and my 4 other friends? It's probably not going to happen. You might get lucky. Shit, it might happen one day, but the odds of that happening are pretty slim. So you're going to have to put yourself out there, man. So let's talk about some ways to do just that. How are you going to hook up with a raid group? Let's talk about it. I want to go ahead and get the one for Xbox out of the way. Xbox actually has built-in LFG on its service on Xbox Live. So if you play on Xbox, I'm sure you know that exists. Hit it up, man. It's worth a shot. I've never used it personally. I play on PC. Before that, I primarily played on PS4. I did play on Xbox a little bit, but I never used that platform. So if you play on Xbox, start there. If you play on PC, the Destiny 2 PC LFG Discord server is exactly where you want to go. There is even a channel in here for Sherpas specifically. finding them or putting yourself out there. I sat in here for about 15 minutes and I watched 4 raid teams form. for Last Wish, Garden of Salvation with Divinity, Crown of Sorrow, and even a Spire of Stars raid team, and all of them had people that had never done raids before. So, like 15 minutes is how long it took for those raid teams to be put together. And the cool thing about that Discord is it automatically, like, you not only do you have all of those channels available to find people, but even once you find them, you don't need to like send out a bunch of links to your Discord or anything like that. I suppose you can if you want to, but you know, they have their own chat rooms in there that you can just be like, hey, yeah, jump in raid room 26. That's where I'm at. Okay, cool. And boom, you're good to go. Now, another great thing about this particular form of LFG is there is some accountability. If somebody's just a straight up asshole and gets reported a bunch, they will be kicked out of that server. Another really cool thing about it is that it is free for everybody, and they have specific channels for specific activities, so you can go straight to the one that you were looking for. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're not on PC, Bungie.net has their own LFG Find a Fire Team feature that you can go hit up whenever you want. Pick your platform, it's open for every single platform, pick your activity, pick your language, and then just start scrolling through until you find a team that fits what you're looking for, or you can create your own post and just be very straightforward with people and say, hey, I've never done a raid, this is what I'm looking for. I scrolled through here and look back maybe 10-15 minutes like I did in the LFG Discord, and again, I found raid teams for Last Wish. I even found one for King's Fall in Destiny 1. I didn't even know people were still doing that on this website. But yeah, I found Last Wish, I found Garden of Salvation, I found all of them. And they all say, you know, it's my first time, or first timers welcome. These guys, the teams are out there. The teams are out there, I promise you. Bungie.net also has an official Destiny app where you can use this exact same feature right from your phone. iOS, Android, Google, it doesn't matter. You can download the app for free. You have a fire team literally in your pocket. Now look, when you're scrolling through any of these LFG sites or any of these LFG platforms, you're going to find a ton of posts. In fact, most of the posts that you're going to find are going to say something like, know what to do, have this many clears, yada, yada, yada. Those people that are so insecure with their own abilities that they think that you need 30 Crown of Sorrow runs to know how to do Crown of Sorrow, you don't want to raid with them anyway, okay? So don't worry about them, don't even acknowledge them. If they're that insecure about their raid abilities, you don't want them on your team. They're probably going to be more of a detriment than you will with your no experience. That said, never say that you have experience if you don't. It will become very clear and obvious that you were lying the moment that you start fighting a boss in a raid if you have no idea what you're doing. Try to go do Shirochi without the slightest idea of what's going on. It will become very evident that you are lying. So just avoid that. Be upfront, be honest with people, say, I don't know what I'm doing, I never raided, I want to learn. Don't use carry, you want to learn. Keep that in mind. Another thing that I would recommend is in-game, 4 out of the 7 raids, this is Crown of Sorrow, Garden of Salvation, Scourge of the Past, and Last Wish, they all have an option for guided games, which is kind of matchmaking for raids. Full disclosure, you will sit in orbit for a very long time waiting for one of these teams to show up because not a lot of people use it. There's not a lot of incentive for the guides in guided games, and I think that that's why it ultimately failed and just nothing really happened out of it. But if you sit there long enough, it will eventually match you with a team. So maybe on a day that you just don't have a lot going on, you got the game running in the background, something like that, queue it up, man. Just to see if you can find a team. It is in the game for a reason, and it does work. I've done a couple of guides. I've never done it as the person being guided, but I've done a few guided games myself because you get emblems. When you do guided games in like Last Wish and Scourge of the Past, stuff like that, you get some pretty neat little emblems with some neat emblem variants. So I've done a few, and you know, even from my standpoint, being the guide, we sat in orbit searching for like 30 minutes, you know, something crazy like that, to find one person to add to our team so that we could do a guided game. So, I mean, it's flawed on both sides. I'm not saying that it isn't, but if you sit there long enough, eventually the odds of you finding a team are pretty good. Now, that's that's pretty much all I have for you guys. The only other thing that I'm going to say is literally anything where players come together in any fashion can be a form of LFG. Most of the people that I raid with currently, most of my regular raid teams, I met them on Twitter. I met them, you know, through other friends. I met them in the Destiny 2 PC LFG. Like, people that I consider friends now, I didn't know a year ago. People that I raid with constantly, I didn't know a year ago. And it's not because I have a YouTube channel. It's not because a lot of people want to play with me. It's because I was like, hey man, I want to raid. I just switched to PC, and I just threw out a ton of feelers until I found a group. And once I had that group, now I can raid pretty much whenever I want, and it is such a glorious thing. That's something that I've never had until I switched to PC, and I was like, you know what, screw this. I want to raid. I'm going to go find some people. So, like I said, Twitter, Facebook, the Destiny and Bungie official accounts, when they post on social media, hit up those, man. Just drop, you know, comment on those posts and be like, hey, I'm trying to do Eater of Worlds for the first time. Can somebody help me out? Chances are you're going to find at least one other person that is either in the same boat as you or willing to help you. Either way, you now only need 4 more people to raid instead of 5. You see, you got to take the small victories, is what I'm saying. You know, progress is progress, and you want to just try to make as much of it as you can. So put yourself out there, be confident, be respectful, and best of luck, man. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, good luck, because raiding is incredible, and if you're not doing it, you are missing so much. So much, man. That's going to bring this video to an end. Feel free to use the comment section of this video as a form of LFG. Post your console and what raid you're trying to do. Hopefully somebody gets back to you. If you enjoyed this video, click like. If you are new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.